Students, in lesson 1.1, we are going to be examining place value patterns. But before we start our exploration of chapter 1, place value, multiplication, and expressions, we are going to do a vocabulary builder. Our vocabulary builder will help us get ready to understand the different content vocabulary that is specific to math, which will help us in understanding and being more successful at the lessons throughout chapter 1. So let us begin with visualize it. Sort the review words into the Venn diagram. So the review words that we will be using are estimate, factor, multiply, place value, product, and quotient. Now remember, in a Venn diagram, the union, or the part where the two circles meet, are the words that have the common interest or the commonalities. So what we see here is that multiplication is one Venn diagram and division is the other part of the circle, but where they meet in the middle, what we're looking for is words that relate to both multiplication and division. So as we go through these words, we know that estimate, we can estimate in multiplication and division, so we're going to put that in the middle. And then we also know that place value relates to both multiplication and division, because numbers in either of those would have value depending on their place in a number. So now let's move over to the multiplication. We know that a factor relates to multiplication because a factor is what is multiplied by another factor to get the answer in a multiplication problem, which is a great relay to understanding that in multiplication, the verb or the action word is multiply. And then lastly, when we find the answer in a multiplication problem, we get the product. So we see that we filled in all these words in this part of the circle that related to multiplication. Now, the only one that we have left, which relates to division, is quotient. And quotient is the answer in a division problem. So what we're going to do is we're going to continue on in our vocabulary builder, and we're going to be using our preview words to help us complete the understanding vocabulary part 2. So our preview words, which we're going to use, are base, distributive property, evaluate, exponent, inverse operations, numerical expression, order of operations, period. So let's start with the understand vocabulary. Write the preview words that answer the question, what am I? Number 1, I am a group of 3 digits separated by commas in a multi-digit number. And that, boys and girls, is a period. Number 2, I'm a mathematical phrase that has numbers and operation signs, but no equal sign. That, boys and girls, is a numerical expression. Number 3, I am operations that undo each other, like multiplication and division. Those are inverse operations, and we can also think of inverse operations as opposite operations. Number 4, I am the property that states that multiplying a sum by a number, and remember, sum is talking about addition, is the same as multiplying each added in the sum by the number and then adding the products. That is distributive property. And distributive property will be very important throughout our discovery and inquiry of 5th grade math. And lastly, I am a number that tells how many times the base is used as a factor. And that, boys and girls, is an exponent. So we have many different review words and preview words that are going to be helpful in understanding and really studying. So we have vocabulary flashcards in our Chapter 1 book, and we want to make sure that we remember to review those words and test ourselves at the meaning of those words nightly. Because when we investigate and we do the lesson throughout Chapter 1, when we come in contact with those words, we're going to have experience with them, and that is going to make us easier for understanding the strategies that we need to apply with our math throughout Chapter 1.